What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Dragon Ball Legends video on Dragon Ball Central. Today, we're going to be going over the top 5 best matches of the first week of the Dragon Ball Legends YouTuber Tournament of Power. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright guys, so the first match that I do want to include in today's top 5 is a bit of an interesting case. Now, right from the beginning, you're going to notice that the opponent here is a very, very good player. You might not know who it is, but you quickly will. So, first and foremost, I think it's important to note here that from the beginning of the tournament, we did have quite a few people that did just drop out or never actually showed up in the server, which does suck, but it is what kind of happens with these sorts of events. You know, usually you have like 10 or 15 people out of 60 to 100 that'll drop out and just not ever respond to any messages or anything like that. So that's what we saw this time around. Fortunately, though, we had quite a few people that were ready to take those spots that opened up, and that opponent that you're seeing right now going up against Immapie here is Bebop. So yeah, if you guys don't know Bebop, one of the best players to ever grace the game, absolutely a god at it, and he did have to start over his account, and obviously he hasn't gotten to the same position that his old account was at, but at the same time, still an absolutely fantastic player, and that is what you guys are seeing right now, using a God Key team featuring a Super Saiyan 2 Shallot. Very, very powerful lineup, and he just basically walloped Immapie here. Now, I do want to mention that Immapie did actually submit this match for the the top 5, but, you know, I think that that's worth mentioning because he definitely, you know, he took it fine. It wasn't the best odds for him going into this matchup. As with most people, Bebop kind of just styled on him the whole time, and yeah, that's pretty much this entire video, is just Bebop just styling. That is literally it. So yeah, right now you guys are seeing the finish real quick. Gonna go ahead and drop that ultimate from Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Vegeta, who is an absolute beast, and that is going to be that match gone and done. Now guys, moving on into match number 2, we do have Triforce White 14 going up against Black Reaper Kai. Both really solid players, but I will mention that Triforce's team here, as you guys are seeing, is a purple green team. Now, definitely not as good of a team as you could probably have in this tournament, but obviously you're making do with what you have. You're trying to change up, you know, what people are expecting and use different meta teams or different than meta teams, and that's what he's using this time around. So we did see the Goten pick for the fantastic blast attack, as well as legendary finish, and you know, just decent power level on that ultimate as well, in general. And then on top of that, we also have crit buffs with, you know, Hero Yohan, and then Trunks is a decent damage dealer on blast attacks as well. So definitely not a bad team necessarily, but as you're seeing right now, it just really didn't stack up as well as it maybe could have, especially right off the bat. Goten's going very, very low, going down to about 5,000 HP and then switching out ultimately. But really, I thought this was going one particular direction, and that was definitely going to be against Triforce in this particular case. He was already down a match. He was against the wall, and then he really started to turn things around. You guys are seeing right now, he's using Rising Rush. He's going to go straight into it, and it's going to be a switch into Chilled, which is really, really important to note here. Now, just skipping ahead a little bit, you are going to see Chilled does go down to the Rising Rush, and what you're seeing from here on out is just an absolutely ridiculous level of strategy that I'm not even sure Triforce was aware he was doing. I mean, he might have been, don't get me wrong, he's a really solid player, but he did end up losing this entire set. This is just a fantastic example of great strategy coming together with a relatively mediocre team to make an actually awesome matchup and outcome. So what you're looking at right now is basically Triforce just trying to waste as much time as he possibly can, okay? He's trying to make it so the death buff from Chilled is going to stop working up against his Trunks, his Super Saiyan Trunks, which is going to be the main damage dealer right now, because obviously base Gohan is not going to deal enough damage to take out Final Form Frieza. He's just not going to, unless you're a ridiculously good player and you have 2 other heroes that are, you know, decently high HP to be able to just switch in and out of and take advantage of vanishes on going up against one particular character that's going to deal a lot of damage. So that's what you're looking at right now. Obviously, Rising Rush is going off here as well. It's going to be a failed Rising Rush, which was, again, a very important part of this, because if that lucky bit where he defended the Rising Rush wouldn't have happened, he most likely would have lost this match. Now, moving on to the final little bit of this particular matchup, you're going to see we do have an easy combo that would have actually killed, most likely, up against Trunks, but it does flub. We're going to see Black Reaper Kai flub that. And then we're seeing a nice little time waster just going back and forth with Yohan. Yohan's going to go for the double tackle. He obviously gets taken out with the first strike combo that goes off. And then we're seeing a 1v1. We need some more ki, basically, to finish off the match on either side. They go for ki. And then we see a tackle bluff versus a strike arts. And that is going to be the end of the match. Match number 3 is Watashi going up against Vindicator. Now, this is an interesting matchup, mainly because we're looking at 2 different ideas for synergy. The first one going to be from Vindicator, not really being synergy at all, just mainly focusing on good stuff, you know? Obviously, Shallot's the best hero in the game. You're going to go with Shallot. The best extreme in the game, damage-wise, glass cannon-wise, arguably going to be Evil Boo. And on top of that, you're going to have the best sparking in the game right now, which is basically inarguable, and that's going to be Super Vegito. So that's what you're looking at from Vindicator. Different strategy coming from our dude Watashi here, and he's going to be running with the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan Red, which is absolutely godlike still, by the way. You guys didn't see my video on him the other day, definitely check it out. But we are also looking at a fantastic cover change extreme, and a relatively interesting choice in Hero Super Saiyan Goku Purple. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm going to have to actually ask him about that, because I'm not sure why you'd go ahead and decide to choose him. It's really pretty interesting as a decision. You would think that he would have gone with Super Saiyan 2 Shallot, because you're going to get a crit rate buff on Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. So I'm not really sure why he did that. That actually could be a game-changing mistake that he made, but I'll have to go back and ask him and see why he decided to do that. Obviously, right now, he goes in for the switch, goes in for the Rising Rush, and it is going to be a favored Rising Rush, which means a huge damage output, even if it was defended, and it wasn't defended. So Evil Boo does get knocked out pretty heavy right now. He gets knocked down, and that is going to be him getting just destroyed by that Rising Rush. Almost 2.8 million damage. Just absolute beast mode. 2.9 million damage combo. Ridiculous damage output. Obviously, again, Evil Boo is a bit of a glass cannon, so you got to know what you're dealing with him. And that switch, you know, while it probably was smart, because obviously certain situations present themselves with a type disadvantaged Rising Rush, and you're still going to get knocked out by it. I don't know if that would have happened, and it very well, again, could have been a game-changing mistake that was made on the side of Vindicator. Now, guys, right here is where you start to see things even out a little bit. Obviously, Hero Goku did go down, but we are going to see Shallot get hit pretty hard and then get into an ultimate, which is ultimately, haha, I wasn't trying to make a joke there, going to take Shallot down. 1.2 million damage, absolute beast mode again. These sparkings are just absolute monsters, really. So what we're looking at right here is basically just a nice little switch, and that's going to be into the cover change. Even though its cover change doesn't even matter, about 200,000 damage per arts card used in that Rising Rush, it will be successfully defended, which is where this matchup actually ended up heading into the top 5. Now, basically, that particular Rising Rush defense means that we're going to see a very, very competitive finish. You know, I have to imagine at this point that Vindicator was feeling the pressure, because this was a very, very awkward spot to be in. Goes for the special, flubs it because he got hit with the blast attack, but ultimately he will get the blast arts card and make this a 1v1 very easily. 700k damage with 2 cards. Absolutely ridiculous damage output. And right now we're seeing just these buffs are starting to stack up. The ultimate goes down on Gohan. That's going to be a ridiculous amount of damage. Will it kill? We do not know, guys. And it will not kill. As you are seeing, it's going to do about 900,000 damage, but it won't take out Gohan, because Gohan is just that good. But honestly, guys, coming back to the other side of that, you are going to see Gohan's not dealing nearly enough damage. The buffs have stacked up. And unless something crazy happens, we are going to see Vegito just do what he always does and absolutely destroy all opposition with a ridiculous amount of buffs. That is exactly what we saw this time. Still a great match. Now, during the last match, I did mention that Watashi probably should have used Shallot instead of using Hero Purple Goku, and that is exactly what we're seeing from this particular team from Stardust Galaxy going up against Strix. Now, I will say that this was not the most competitive of matches, but from the beginning, it was an entertaining one, and then towards the end, definitely a really, really fun one to watch, and I absolutely recommend you check out the other match in this set on his YouTube channel. Again, links to everybody that's featured in this video will be in the description below. Thanks to them for participating. in this tournament. So fast forward a little bit, guys, we are going to see the eventual Rising Rush against Shallot. It fails, much to the misfortune of Strix here, and then we are going to see a return Rising Rush through a Blast Darts combo that Strix threw out, and that is going to be a successful Rising Rush, dealing over 1.35 million damage to base form Vegito, just about killing him, but not quite. Now, this is definitely still a winnable match for Strix. He's going to get the combo off on Shallot. That's a big combo. It could do a lot of damage and possibly even take out Shallot in a lot of situations, but ultimately there will be a switch into Purple Vegeta here, and that is going to be Purple Vegeta obviously getting destroyed by a special arts. Now, once Vegeta does go down, Shallot comes back in, and then we are going to see why I decided to put this in the top 5, guys. We see a switch into Gohan. Gohan is obviously an absolute beast, especially when he gets switched in from Super Saiyan 2 Shallot. He gets a massive crit rate buff of 30%. That is going to be a crit that takes out base form Vegito. Vanish, followed by Blast Darts, followed by an ultimate, guys. And this is a beautiful, ridiculous, over-the-top ultimate finish. And I had to include it, man. Legendary finishes in this game are so satisfying, and this had to be ridiculously satisfying for Stardust to pull off. Props to him. Legendary finish, taking home the W. Now, guys, out of all the matches that happened this week, Sun Yohan against Steve ODG, this particular match was the best match that I found out of all of them. It was ridiculous. It had everything you could possibly want, guys, from a competitive match of Dragon Ball Legends, so I had to put this one right at the top. Just a ridiculous showing of skill from both sides. So there's a nice back and forth for a little bit, but eventually Sun Yohan does hit the Rising Rush, and he will get a successful Rising Rush from Shallot versus Shallot. It's going to do over 1 million damage, not take out Shallot, though, which is a very important thing to note here, because that is going to be instrumental later on in the match. Just keep this in mind. Now, right now, we're seeing Shallot just come back with a ridiculously damaging combo. Absolute beast. Instant transmission usage from Cell, and that's going to be very valuable moving forward in the tournament. I do think that Perfect Cell is probably going to be used quite a bit. I mean, definitely in week 1, he was used very, very well, and obviously right now we were going to see the switch from Bardock going and using that Rising Rush. We absolutely were going to see Perfect Cell switched out, because he is going to be, again, the main damage dealer here. He's going to have a lot of utility. And obviously, also, his regen is very valuable. And that's another thing that, surprise, surprise, we are going to see later on in this match, which is instrumental. And you are going to see exactly what I'm talking about here shortly. So this match is moving on forward here. We are seeing the man Steve-O. He's pushing forward. He's doing some good damage. He's got some nice distribution of damage taken on his team. Hasn't lost anybody yet, despite getting hit with a successful Rising Rush from Shallot. We have some nice footsies being played right now, followed by a combo from Shallot on Sun Yohan's side. That is going to be doing a lot of damage to Super Saiyan Vegeta. He's just taking too many hits right now. It's just not good for Vegeta, especially going into a nice little additional bit of damage from Perfect Cell. You do not want to be losing your Extreme in this particular situation, especially with a huge damage dealer that also has regen and a huge amount of HP to just sort of mitigate the damage output that your team can do. You guys are seeing right now, everything just gets healed right back up. About 6,300 damage per tick. That is busted. Trying to stop the damage output from the Blast Darts combo from Bardock, that is not going to work out, unfortunately, for Sun Yohan. But not all is lost at this point in time, guys, because he is going to push forward for his own combo. He's going to get the Blast Extension, and that is going to continue pushing forward, do a lot of damage again, guys. Now, on the Vanish here, he does get another combo against Perfect Cell, and at this point in time, I don't think that Sun Yohan does want to lose Perfect Cell, especially since he has a ridiculous regen ability that's just constantly going, constantly bringing his HP back up. And every second that you can eke out, every second you can take from your opponent and just wait, you're going to be getting a decent amount of HP back. And that can really add up. And again, that's something you're going to see here shortly. 335,000 HP left. He left earlier with much less HP than that. And obviously, he's getting comboed off on right now from Vegeta. He's going to take a special, and he's still not going to go down. 25,000 HP, guys. 25,000 HP he survives with. That would not have happened without his regen ability. 100%. You can be 100% sure of that. We are going to see Shallot go up against Shallot. Double Vanish. He catches him in the Vanish attempt on Shallot. And that is going to be Yohan's Shallot's going to continue the combo, going for the special. He's doing some damage, boys. It's not going to do enough damage to kill, but it will do a lot of damage. The Rising Rush goes down to stop this Strike Arts combo here, and that could very well be the game. Will it be a successful defense, or will it not be? It will be an unsuccessful defense. That will be a successful Rising Rush, pushing forward, destroying the Shallot. But at this point in time, you still could absolutely come back with 230,000 HP on Bardock. And that's exactly what it's looking like might just happen here, guys. Begone goes off, pushes forward with the green card. Doesn't even matter. Cell goes down, and we have got a Shallot going up against a Bardock right now. Obviously, with Shallot having 200,000 more HP, it wasn't looking great, so we do see the green card go off. Rising Rush drops on Shallot. This is for all the marbles, guys. This could very well be the end of the game. It's pushing Shallot back. 1 HP remaining. Successful defense. Pushes forward, goes for the blast, barely ekes out the kill, and that is going to be Sun Yohan taking the match. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed today's video. Definitely some absolutely fantastic matches from only the first week of the tournament. I can only imagine how great it's going to be as we move on farther into the bracket. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Did I rank them right? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next one very, very soon. Till then, guys, peace.